Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, Spiritual Life Coach. Welcome to week 8 of my series on creativity, authority, own it. First claim dominion over yourself. From Tyrone Jones. As you get comfortable revealing who you are, you help others stop fearing and concealing the magical feelings of who they are. And before we go into the episode, let me just share with you some ways that I can support you. Firstly, by listening into this episode of Her Inspirations, you're taking part in the information that I'm sharing with you. However, if you join the mailing list, you'll receive emails with additional teaching points and resources for you so that you can explore deeper on your spiritual and your creative journey. If you're someone that's always wanted to be heard in the world, whether that means you are starting your own podcast, putting out social media content, speaking in public, or just showing up in your life, I've created Your Awakened Voice for you. This is my course that uses my holistic approach that acknowledges the intricate connection between your physical body, mind, and spirit. This course empowers you to discover and develop your voice. And maybe you're ready to work on a one-to-one basis with me. If you know there's a purpose for your life, my purpose is to support you in making that happen. In particular, I work with women over 40. I'm helping you trust your intuition, rediscover your innate creativity, and use your decades of wisdom to design your purposeful life. All the links are in the show notes below. From Sasha Graham. Magic is what happens when the blueprint of who you are comes into alignment with the expanding energy of the universe. This week I'm talking about authority, and authority related to creativity. So what is that? This is when the true confidence of your internal source is expressed as authentic expression. It's owning your voice and it's owning your vision with conviction. This is what I would consider true empowerment, when you're acknowledging your personal power. You're able to embrace and recognize your inherent worth. You see the wisdom that you have, and you're trusting the agency that you have in expressing what it is that you see, your unique voice, your unique vision. For me, this is what higher energetic resonance is all about. It's knowing the impact that your work can have with audiences and communities, and staying strong and honored with the responsibility that brings to you. And this is when you truly own and honor that your creative expression, your interpretation cannot be replicated, and you don't want that. And this is not to diminish the need for guidance or education, but it's also to know that there has to be a stamp on your work that identifies you and then can therefore establish you as an authority. This is now when you get to that point of trusting your creative instincts. You're prepared to take those risks. You're able to assert yourself boldly and authentically with all of your creative endeavors. This is when you're able to stand by your work. You're able to stand by your work when you're still visioning it. You're able to stand by your work when it's ahead of its time, when nobody understands. You're able to stand by your work when you face criticism, or when you feel that it's time to go in a completely different direction to what everyone might know you for, and do something completely different. To be able to do that and to be able to own that you're doing that is your authority. And this personal power and this creative confidence will come as a result of your deep and ever deepening self-awareness. This is when you continue to be almost uncomfortably honest with yourself and ask those questions of yourself. It's firstly questioning your motives. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it a reaction to something that's happened before? Are you doing it from ego? Are you trying to prove something to yourself or to others? Or is it for the joy of creating? Is it for the joy of helping and serving some way? This is not to cast any judgment, but it's to show you that if you know why you're doing what you're doing, then you can stand up in the face of any external push because you realize where you're coming from. You're also facing your doubts and exploring where they come from. Why are you suddenly questioning what it is that you want to do? Where are those doubts coming from? Is it your voice? Is it a voice of your past? Is it a voice of what you think Is it you misunderstanding somebody's reaction to your voice? Like I said, not everyone is going to understand what you do. And also another question is really being clear on what success means for you. What does it look like for you to know that you're on the right track, that your work is valid? For some people, it's just doing the work and putting your creative endeavor, whatever that is, out there and knowing that it's not just sitting in your mind or something that you want to do. For other people, they need to have the validation and the response and the positive responses from other people. So it's finding out what is success for you and what happens and what does that mean if those things don't align with what you have in mind as to what your success looks like. And similarly, what does failure mean? Is failure people not responding to what you do? Is failure you not hitting a deadline? The clearer that you can be about what those things mean to you, the more of a solid foundation that you're creating around yourself. Another area as well, when it comes to self-awareness and asking uncomfortably honest questions of yourself, is asking yourself, do you have the skill set to achieve what it is that you want? Are you good enough? And that's not to take away from, is the work that you're doing good? It's to be truthful and to see where you need assistance, where you need support, where you need to skill up. Are you just putting things out there half-heartedly? Is that good enough for you? Some people are not necessarily sticklers when it comes to their work. Done is good enough. Others want a higher level, and then others go into perfectionism, which was a couple of episodes ago, and I encourage you to listen to that if you feel that you're holding yourself back because you're aiming for perfectionism. When you know this truth for yourself, it then expands your self-esteem and your creative confidence grows, and then this is reflected back in the confidence that others have in you. And this is even if they don't always agree with what you do, they will respect the fact that you're standing firm in what it is that you see and you say that you're going to do and do for yourself and do for others. And also inner creative authority will grow through you knowing the voice of your inner creative, your intuition, and doing all that you can do to maintain that connection, because that's the most important part. That's when you continue to feed the flow of expression through yourself, from yourself, in the authentic way. When you lose that connection, then you start to look to other places for validation or for inspiration. And then if you know that you're looking outside of yourself, there's not a full 100% trust in it because it's not coming for you and you don't necessarily recognize your stamp in it. There'll be a part of you that just knows that what you're putting out there isn't the truth. And then to try and stand by something that is untrue is shaky ground in any aspect of life, but in specifically when it comes to your creativity. And also, what are your visions and what are your values? What are you prepared to tolerate in terms of what you're putting into your work or using to create your work, who you're aligning with? Where do they need to be in terms of their vision? Where do their values need to be in order for you to be able to work with them? Again, being clear about what that means and what will affect the way that you work and will affect the way that your work is received. And then going in deeper into the tools that you have in place to move past any moments of doubt. So when your doubt is impacting your individual sense of creative authority and confidence, this is a time to really get into deep contemplation and meditation, again, with those big questions. What is it that's causing you to feel shaky? Who or what has infiltrated your confidence? Is this a reaction to other people's response to what you're doing? Is this you knowing that what you put out there isn't good enough and then you're feeling that instability? Why have you fallen off with your whatever mindfulness or meditation practice that you use to keep yourself connected? What have you allowed to distract you? And are you able to deal with that distraction so that you can then get back on track? Are there some old self-limiting beliefs that are coming from way back when you still were finding your footing? Why are they holding precedence over your productivity now? What is it about them that you're believing to be true? Can you get back to the point where you see that what you're thinking about yourself isn't truth, and you've allowed this untruth to come back into your awareness? And why is that? And then once you have the answers to these questions and whatever other questions may come up, is then working out a process of building and rebuilding that confidence, of rebuilding that awareness of who you are and your voice and your confidence within yourself. And that may be with community, with one-to-one support, or it may just be that you're able to get back there by shutting out all the distractions and reminding yourself why you started what it is that you started in the first place. And also set boundaries around your creative time so that you can replenish your energy and also protect your vision. One, when you're starting out, is not everyone needs to know or should know what it is that you're doing. And especially if you're planting fresh seeds, they need time to germinate. And if you're doing something that is very innovative, it's likely that very few people are going to be able to feedback or understand what it is that you want to do, or be able to point you in the direction of resources that might help you. Make it a priority to nurture your creative well-being. What do you need to get back into your flow? And are you doing enough of that right now, or any of that right now? Your creative authority stands on the structures and the foundation you have within yourself. Without that, you will be unlikely to exude that authority outside of yourself. And this is the work. Keep asking yourself, what are you overthinking? Have you stopped playing and forgetting that creativity is fun? Creativity is joy. Do you need to get yourself back into journaling, mindfulness, reflection, to realign yourself and to feel that you're back in line and listening to your sovereignty over any other external voice? And once you've answered those questions, and once you're clear about where you are, what is pulling you off track, what it is that you want to achieve, what your values are, and areas that you need support, areas that you need to expand, things that you need to learn. Once you have a clear idea of who it is that you are as a creator, then you're excited to embrace creative challenges, excited to take on creative risks. By being seen as someone who's able to leverage those creative strengths, it then means that you can lead in any arena with integrity and vision, and you're able to push yourself outside of what you know. You expand. Somebody who has the willingness to do more is somebody that's attractive and then sets you up as an authority. People who have dominion and authority over themselves, those are the people who are more magnetic. Those are the people that people come to ask all sorts of questions, because even if it seems to be outside of your wheelhouse, there's a trust that's built there. But authority starts with your authority over yourself, your authority over your thoughts, your emotions, your willingness to be disciplined and committed to your visions, the willingness to go into your own exploration creatively within your spirituality, within your personal growth, within every area of your life. You want to constantly seek out the new, and should you experience a setback, you've been there before, you know how to get back up, you know how to rebuild. So I close with this on authorities: trust your creative vision, honor your creative voice, and lead yourself as somebody who's standing in their creative courage and conviction. Be bold and be creative. Exude your authority. For Matt Urin, true personal power doesn't seek to dominate others, because the empowerment of others is not viewed as a threat to one's own. Thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of High Energetic Resonance Inspirations and the Creativity series. I think I've got one more in the pot next week, but as with creativity, there's always another idea that arises. Do feedback to me and let me know what you've got from this series, if there's other areas of creativity that you'd like me to speak about and explore further. It's one of my favourite subjects, so I can stay here all time. So you can reach out to me on social media. On Instagram, I'm Kazmick, C-A-Z-M-I-C-K. On Facebook and LinkedIn, it's Carol May Whittick. And there's also my website, carolmaywhittick.com, CarolMaywhittick.com. Until the next episode, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.